There's a live look at the Storm Tracker 2 live radar, and I'm going to put this into motion and get a sense of what we're seeing. Also, a couple of different things as well. If you look at the bottom of your screen, we have all of the closures for not only local ISDs, but of course for all of the colleges. So you saw Galveston College closed. Of course, Galveston ISD is closed today as well. Not only that, but Goose Creek, and you get the idea. So all of those are going to continue to run at the bottom of your screen. If you want to check more about the power outages, that QR code that you have at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, you can hit that with your phone camera. That'll take you to what the current power outages are. And as Amy and Haley were just mentioning a second ago, we're up to almost 1 million, and that may actually beat what I thought at 8 a.m. It may be more 7 a.m. when we're going to see that at this point. So let's get a quick look at what's happening with the radar here, and then we'll get over to meteorologist Caroline Brown. We're going to talk channel status as well, because we're starting to run into a few hot spots. So, all right, let's set the stage for what we're seeing out there right now. So most of what we've got, these are all flash flood warnings from Lake Jackson all the way up to the Woodlands. As I expected, they're going to continue to stack northward. These will expire, likely be replaced by aerial flood advisories, meaning that it's not as life-threatening as what we're seeing out there in some locations right now. But the center of the storm is right about here, right in between El Campo and Wharton. In fact, let me zoom this back out, and I'm going to put this in motion here over the last hour or so, because I want to show you what some of the conditions that the reporters have been in, especially some of the folks we've been talking to down around the coast. You saw our own Bill Spencer there a second ago over towards Jamaica Beach, where things are really starting, they're continuing, I should say, to be quite a mess. This is that rain band right there when we were talking to Owen Conflenti about 25 minutes ago. This was the rain band that was smashing in towards his location over at the convention center. And then, of course, earlier in the hour, talking to Gage Golding that's down there in Matagorda Bay. Thankfully, Gage is just about done with this. So if you are down across parts of Matagorda, if you're watching us from Palacios, Port Lavaca, all the way on down towards the barrier island here, well, probably another 30 minutes, and then I think things are going to start to improve. But you can see the back end of this, and not only that, but if you look at these rain bands right around the center, and Caroline was talking about this earlier this morning. It's these rain bands around the center, and you see the thunderstorms starting to develop with the lightning. It's an indication that there's some very strong convection sliding on the backside of this eye. Now, the eye itself is right here between Wharton and El Campo, kind of looking a little ragged in the center, but my guess is that folks that are in this location, right about where my hand is, between just south of Needville, probably not seeing as heavy of rain, and certainly not the wind that you were getting earlier. That is whatever's left of the eye at this point is right there. But just like what you saw a second ago with Gage when we were talking to him, all of this is going to have to slide through that area. So you're not out of it just yet. If it starts to back off and you think, okay, well, we're done, you're not. There's all of this backside of this storm system that is going to have to slide across that area. Of course, these flash flood warnings, they're out, including the one that we have here across almost all of Harris County. I mean, at this point, it's just Harris County. That goes until 9 o'clock this morning. And then, of course, the new one that we saw just a second ago, let me put a stop on that. That's up here across parts of the Woodlands, Bush Airport, into sections of southwestern Liberty County. That goes until 9:30. So all of these are continuing because of the heavy rain that we've seen out there, and not only the heavy rain, but including some of the wind gusts that have gotten rather strong. Some of the wind speeds that we have, and there's the center of it. And this is what I was saying just a second ago. 33-mile-an-hour sustained winds in El Campo, less than 20 as you get towards Bay City. So that's basically the difference of where the center of the storm is. And then on the whip side of that, 20 to 25 to 30 miles an hour towards Seadrift over to Palacios. And then all of this water and wind and waves starting to pile up in Galveston, where they're seeing winds sustained at around 30 miles an hour. And of course, some of the wind gusts, and this is where we're running into some of the damage issues that both Robert was just talking about, what Owen has been mentioning as well, and certainly some of the things that Bill and when we saw Bryce and Rilwan a second ago, some of the damage that we will likely start to see over the next 1 to 2 hours here across the greater Katy area, where the wind gusts are upwards of almost 30 miles an hour. Still tropical storm force winds in terms of the gusts from downtown Houston at 60, Anahuac, Galveston, Lake Jackson to Palacios, and out towards Seadrift as well. So all of that heavy rain that's been pushing on through is part of the reason why we have those flash flood warnings that are in place, and also one of the reasons why, as these bands continue to slide northward over the last hour or so, that's where we're running into a lot of the issues with these flash flood warnings, including this band here. Now, these eventually will start to slide off to the east as the storm itself lifts north. But in terms of lifting north right now, this is where we'll likely see our next flash flood warning. I wouldn't be shocked if it's up around Conroe, north of, let's say, Roman Forest, and maybe even extended a little further west of Katy, as some of the backside of this system, there could be some real wind damage right in across here from Columbus down to El Campo. I would not be shocked to see that. And then, of course, these flash flood warnings that you have across the city on down to Galveston are not going to go anywhere. They are all at least for the next 2 hours. And one of the reasons why is we're talking about 2 to 3, 4 inches of rain that's all falling in about an hour or so. And if there's that much rain falling on the ground, we're probably going to be dealing with some flood issues in terms of our channel status in some of the smaller creeks and bayous. Let's get over to Caroline now, who has been feverishly watching this over the last hour or so. Caroline, what's the latest?
Oh, Justin, every single time we check, we're seeing this continue to deteriorate. Our stream status is the further north you go, it's actually looking a little bit better. But if you get closer to the coast, this is where, especially around Pearland over towards Clear Lake, we've got a lot of yellow and a lot of reds. But then also now look on the west side of town near Mission Bend and areas up by Memorial and Tanglewood. We're starting to see a lot of these channels go into the red. That means flooding is likely. So I wanted to show you a few that have just recently crested their bank. First, I want to show you South Maid at Greenhouse Road. The top of the bank about 108 feet. The current level 109. So our cross section showing it is at least 1 foot over its bank, and it's continuing to rise. That's the current trend, because over the last 3 hours, we've seen about 3 inches of rainfall. This is what we're seeing for a lot of our bayous and creeks. In fact, Keegan's Bayou at Rourke Road, this has also exceeded its bank by about a foot, and most of this has happened within the last 2 hours. So this is going to be the trend as we go forward. One thing that's not really not helping us is that we have such gusty winds that we've got debris all over the roads. That means it's clogging a lot of our drainage, so our roads are also flooding. So one thing you can do if it's safe, if you're not seeing the intense winds, if you've got a flooded roadway, and you can clear out that drainage ditch, it will do wonders. Radar is currently showing all of those flash flood warnings currently in place. Certainly heavy downpours, and I actually want to focus in on this area, this little area of rotation. I'm going to turn off our warnings because those boxes can get just a bit confusing there, but you can see this deep red color to purple just to the southeast of Fairchilds. This is likely where we are seeing just a tremendously heavy downpour. That's going to be from Day Road to Beard Road, and right here, blinding rain. This is the strongest rainfall we have across the area right now, and that's something we're going to be monitoring as we continue to go forward. Now, thankfully, right now, we're not seeing any tornado warnings, but that's going to be something we increasingly monitor as this lifts to the north, because the good news, it is moving. It's moving to the north at about 12 miles per hour. So what can we expect with the rest of the day? We're telling you to hunker down, but how long? Well, thankfully, not forever, but it is going to be for the rest of the morning today. In fact, as we go through the next few hours, this is going to be lifting to the north. So certainly by about 9, 10 a.m., the center of the circulation passing over I-10, Katy area, likely going to be seeing some intense winds. Remember, as this eye pushes its way across land, it doesn't immediately become a tropical storm. We will still see hurricane force winds towards the center as it drifts its way to the north. So by 11 a.m., still dealing with these outer rain bands. A lot of these will have the possibility of producing isolated spin-up tropical tornadoes. As we look ahead to 3 o'clock, still that rain really streaming up. You'll notice Madisonville into the north. Now, at this point, you might think, okay, river levels will start to go down. But unfortunately, here in southeast Texas, any rainfall that happens to our north, gravity brings it back down towards the Gulf. So we're going to continue to see river swelling even after this moves to our north. Now into the day tomorrow, we're going to be starting off mostly dry, but then into the afternoon, some pop-up showers and storms are possible. So additional rainfall really on the magnitude of 5 to 8 inches of rain here in Houston, an additional 7 inches possible. So widespread, we're talking 5 to 10 inches with isolated spots up to 13 inches of rain. This is why we've got a flood watch in place, and the radar showing with it all of our flood warnings. Now, one area that we're watching is out here in the Gulf. You can see that arrow, that's just indicating that we've got strong thunderstorms. We've turned off all of our marine warnings because it can get a bit confusing, and hopefully there's no mariners out there, but we are watching more strong storms work their way towards shore. In fact, Bolivar, you've got a pretty strong storm that's going to be reaching you within the next 27 minutes. In fact, by 7:27, Bolivar Peninsula going to be getting an aggressive thunderstorm, but thankfully for now, it is staying offshore.